Hey everyone, Simon here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about US Mobile's new unlimited premium plan. So the new unlimited premium plan has unlimited priority data, unlimited talk and text, unlimited hotspot, free Apple Watch plan, and some other things as well, such as like international data and international calling. Now the caveat to get the unlimited priority data is that you have to use the Dark Star network. So that is the AT&T network that US Mobile has. And if we look at this breakdown right here, the unlimited premium plan has unlimited data, but the hotspot, there are some limitations such as 100 gigabytes high speed data, but then after 100 gigabytes goes down to 8 megabits per second and then 600 kilobits per second. You do get QCI 8, so you have a higher data priority level as opposed to as the regular plans which have a QCI 9, which is lower priority level. Now you also notice that when you're on the unlimited premium plan on the Darkstar network, you don't get Apple Watch. So if you do want Apple Watch support, you're gonna have to switch over to the Warp network, which uses the Verizon network. So here is my testing scenario. I'm going to test the Darkstar network on the unlimited premium plan, and I'll be using an iPhone 15 Pro. I'll also be conducting the test within the Southern California area, mostly in the LA County area. So my first testing is going to be an indoor speed test. And on my iPhone, you can see it's US Mobile 5G. The network tag never changed to Darkstar, where I've seen other people are able to get it show as Darkstar 5G. But for me, never happens. So let's take a look at the first speed test. And I was getting around the 335 megabits per second for my download speed, and for my upload speed I was getting 3.27 megabits per second for my upload. Not too bad. And I also wanted to do an LTE speed test, and for LTE I was getting 55.3 megabits per second, and finally on the upload side I was getting close to around the 5 megabits per second, tax it out to 4.49 megabits per second. So my next testing is actually an outdoor testing, but also at the same location. Now the outdoor results is pretty much the same on 5G. This time I was getting around the 330 megabits per second for my download speed. And as we see, the upload speed is also around the 10.3 megabits per second. And now here is also the LTE results. Also same thing, outdoor testing. And this time I was getting a 49.2 megabits per second for my download speed. And for my upload speed, I was getting 13.6. Now for testing number 2, I went to a different location and I started off with a outdoor speed test. And this is on the 5G network. And this time I was getting way faster speeds than my previous location. I was getting 639 megabits per second for my download speeds, and for my upload speeds I was getting 71.1. Next up is an LTE speed test, and this time for LTE I was getting over 313 megabits per second for my download speed. For my upload speed I was getting 17.7 megabits per second. And now these were the speeds I was getting on 5G at the previous location. So this is pretty impressive for an LTE speed. And here are the indoor results at the same location. The 5G speed test was pretty much the same. The LTE was a little bit slower, but it was still pretty fast. I also wanted to check what band I was connected to. So for the most part, I was connected to band N77 and a bandwidth of 80 megahertz. So next up, I want to test out the mobile hotspot speed. Now what I did was I sent my iPhone and enable personal hotspot and tether it to my iPad. And this test was conducted at the first 5G location. And I was getting 339 megabits per second for my download speed. And this time 8.23 for my upload speed. What about HD video streaming? Well, I was able to stream a 4K video on my iPhone using the Darkstar network and no buffering issues whatsoever. It played perfectly fine and it was smooth. So now let's talk about the multi-network function. So this is basically a way for you to add a second network, or basically a second line, to your plan. And it's a kind of like a backup network just in case the Darkstar network wasn't working. So right now I'm going through this process of adding the second network, and you could do this on the US Mobile app or on the website. And you can see right here, there's two choices, either Warp or Lightspeed. Warp uses the Verizon network And again, Lightspeed uses the T-Mobile network. In this case, I'm going to select the Warp network. And once it's done, you're going to see that the eSIM is loaded into your phone and you'll be able to activate it. Now, if for some reason it doesn't activate or you don't see the function, you could just go to your email and scan the QR code. Now after that, you're just going to walk through the whole eSIM setup process. So the multi-network switching between two networks, it isn't really controlled by US Mobile. It's really dependent on your phone. So on the iPhone, let's say for example, my main network is Darkstar. I lose network connection, which I'm simulating right now. Once it loses connection, so it says go to 0 bars, then I'll be able to use my backup line, the Warp network, and basically use data from there. So the multi-network is really just adding a second line and you're going to be able to control it. So you could turn it on and off yourself, or you can let the iPhone do the auto switching for you. So both lines will be using kind of the same data allotment depending on the plan that you have. So right here it says if I run out of data on my parent line, will I still have data on my child line? And the answer is no, the child line uses the same data allotment as the parent line. If you do plan on using a second line, there's no way for you to change the phone number. You can't port in an existing number when you're using the multi-network line. And you want to make sure you have an eSIM compatible phone because the multi-network line is only eSIM. Also, the multi-network function right now is free until the end of the month. After that, they're going to start charging. I'm not sure what the exact price is going to be. I know they've been discussing it on Reddit. We'll just have to see after March. So here are some additional things that you might want to be aware of. If you're an iPhone user and you're considering the Darkstar network, the following things are broken. Group MMS is broken, no visual voicemail, no RCS. Hopefully, a carrier update bundle will roll out to the iPhone as soon as possible, but right now, it's still pending. One of the things I would recommend before you sign up for US Mobile is to read their terms and services for the unlimited premium plan. They do have a tendency to change stuff, so definitely read up on it before you sign up. So overall, I think this new plan is very beneficial for those that are looking for unlimited data, especially if you want to add a second line and use multi-network. The mobile hotspot restriction is kind of a downside if you want to use a lot of data while you're tethering to another device. But if you're an iPhone user, especially if you're an iPhone user that wants to be on the Darkstar network, I'll say just hold off for a while until those issues such as Group MMS, RCS, visual voicemails are fixed, because you're missing out on a lot. But I want to know, what are your thoughts on US Mobile's new unlimited premium plan? Are you on it? What's been your experience? Let me know in the comments below. And feel free to check out some of my other MVNO videos right here.